Two more sweeps in the NBA streets this weekend over in KJK VIP, guys. I am back with some more free KJK VIP NBA player props. Get to win some money tonight in the NBA streets and a nice holiday discount for you for the VIP package. Looking at the screen, you see all this different green, guys. The Mobley PRA, the Curry PRA, McDaniels PRA, Sexton rebounds, assists, Bam points and assists, Hero 4.5 rebounds, etc. If you're looking at the screen, you're like, why the heck did this guy click these buttons? Why did he click the over, the under, etc., etc.? This content is going to be a great resource for you to go ahead and learn the process, all the process that goes into every single one of my plays. As soon as I place them, I send them over to my VIP. And as you can see, we were able to green out not one, but two more. Could have had a lot more. Could have had four here, as you can see on the screen. But unfortunately, Mr. Walker Kessler let us down because I had to provide some pivots. There were some more bumps and things that occurred. So I'm always in my Discord providing pivots to my VIP members when that happens, and that's exactly what I did there. But two more sweeps. Going to be coming on, giving you guys free KJK VIP plays in this one. If you don't have the Betr app, you are going to need it. That'll be the first app we'll talk about here. As you can see, things have been going very well on it. If you get the Betr app and use the promo code KJKDFest, my link down below, I'll have it pinned as the top comment. They're going to match you all the way up to $200. And you're going to want it because you're going to be able to get value you cannot get on other apps, such as I did in that video. Such as I did in that ticket, and such as we're going to do in this video here. Promo code holidays, guys, through midnight of Christmas Day is going to get you 50% off the VIP package. I asked for your feedback in last video. A lot of the people said they are loving the content. They really want to become VIP members. It's $1.66 a day typically. I've gone ahead and cut that in half for you. 50% off through midnight of Christmas Day, because for some reason, people are hesitant to hop in there. I bring up the results. I tell you kind of how I roll over there. All my plays, as soon as I place them, I'm going to provide pivots. You get access to my Discord. It's not just as simple as copying my plays. That is one of the benefits you get, which we're going to talk about here. This is the latest ticket I placed on Betr. This is the one I'm going to provide you guys for free. You got to access this as soon as I placed it in my Discord, right? But then these lines are going to change like crazy. They're going to move up and down. I'm going to provide you pivots. Be able to pivot off these. You get all of the tickets so you can mix and match them should they bump, etc., etc. So hopefully that makes sense. This is the first 6-pick dynamic play we're going to talk about here. It's on Betr. Once again, if you don't have the Betr app, go ahead and get it. Great value. Same process that went in these plays we're going to break down right now. I'll tell you exactly why I clicked the button on the plays that I just brought up. Also, Prizepicks, they're going to hook you up with a nice deposit match as well. We will bring up a Prizepicks ticket, the second portion of the program. When you play your first $5, they're going to give you $50 instantly over on Prizepicks. So get both of those apps. Get the deposit matches in. Let's talk about it. Let's break this thing down. Let's break down this Betr ticket first. I'll bring up my account where I have it locked in as well. And, yeah, man. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So this is the latest here today. We got this bad boy, the Derek White over 2.5 3-pointers made is going to be the first prop in it. Why is this a good prop, guys? I use multiple tools every single day to find the very best plays on these apps. One of which is going to be the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, guys. Full transparency. If you do not have this tool, you need to get it ASAP. If you're someone that likes to do your own research, once again, I do provide that VIP package, but this right here is a big part of all that green you're seeing on the screen that I'm bringing up, right? The over and the under, all these buttons that I'm clicking that you're seeing me bring up on this content, oftentimes is the result of this tool. And they're going to give you 25% off with my promo code KJKDFest linked down below. And I'll bring in all the data here shortly, but for instance, Colin Sexton over 6.5 rebounds and assists, right? There was good value on it. I was able to detect it using this tool. You get the point. Let's break it down. Let's talk about why the Derek White through 2.5 3-pointers is a good prop here today. You're going to see we're looking at a nice 53.49% chance of hit. Why is that, guys? Because this tool is going to bring in millions of dollars of sportsbook data into an optimizer to help us find the very best plays possible. And as you can see, if you do not know what this data means, Derek White is heavily favored on the over 2.5 3-pointers. So for an example, FanDuel, worth millions of dollars. If you're someone that watches, sports, football, basketball, whatever the case may be, I guarantee you've seen a FanDuel commercial because they are a huge multi-million-dollar monopoly and they make money by setting the appropriate lines, right? So they have to set a price for you to either take the over or the under of the prop, and they make money long term by charging that price correctly. So in this case, you're going to see minus 140 in the over 2.5 3-pointers for Derek White. That means if you're going to log in a FanDuel Sportsbook tonight and place the over 2.5 3-pointers for Derek White, you're going to have to risk $140 to win $100, right? You're going to have to risk way more than you're going to win. Why? Because they have advanced analytics teams, data scientists, yada, 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 etc., that have millions of dollars invested into setting appropriate lines, and they've gone ahead and done all the research in this particular matchup, and they've said it is higher likelihood that he goes over the 2.5 number. We're going to charge you a price, right? So we can use this data to find very good plays on these apps. It's the same process that I'm using every single day. So we want to use that millions of dollars of sportsbook data, another tool that I'm using, once again, that's going to bring in that same data that I'm discussing to go along with a bunch of different underlying statistics that I went ahead and partnered up with to give you guys 7 days completely free. Again, I'm giving you free VIP plays. I'm also hooking you up with some sweet deals on the tools that I'm using every day. Outlier, click the link down below. They'll give you 7 days free, and you're going to see we can bring in Mr. Derek White. We can sort this by implied probability, which is what I like to do. That same odds to hit percentage that I just talked about in the other tool. Same concept, right? So they're giving this a 55% chance to hit on the over 2.5 3-pointers. Why is that? Once again, they're bringing in all of these different multi-million-dollar sports books and seeing that he is minus 150 on Caesars, minus 146 on Underdog, minus 146 on FanDuel. FanDuel has multiple books, minus 135 on Bet365. All these different markets are favoring his over, and then they're going to bring in a bunch of different insights for you as well over here on Outlier. And you can see Derek White has exceeded 2.5 3-pointers in 13 of his last 17 games, averaging 3.4 threes on average. That's a 76% hit rate. This guy is very clearly capable of clearing the 2.5 line. He's shooting 9.1 times per game, and he's hitting them at a 37% rate from behind the arc. So these lines, these sports books are going to set his line at 2.5, right? They're going to say he's either most likely going to make 2 or 3 3-pointers, and based on the averages, based on the matchup, based on the data, etc., we are anticipating he's going to make 3 or more. Most likely, we're going to charge you a price to take the over. So when I talk about this market data, you're kind of getting in real time, like all of the different stuff that's going into it. It should make a lot of sense to you based on the data on the screen. Like he's a guy that making 3.4 threes per game. So, you know, if his line set at 2.5, his likelihood of going over that is higher than his likelihood of going under that. They're going to go ahead and charge that price. Once again, we can kind of just get straight to the point oftentimes using that market data, allowing us to find the best plays on these apps very quickly. So the Derek White over 2.5 3-pointers, play number 1 on this ticket, as you can see, that I really do like. Let's continue along here. Let's go back to this latest ticket. And once again, it's sent from my account as soon as I place it over to VIP. It's the same ticket, but the Derek White over 2.5 3-pointers. Next play, let's speed up the process. Let's break down every single one of these bad boys and tell you why they're good plays. Naz Reid over 1.5 3-pointers. We got the Jaden Ivey 14.5 points. Jaren Jackson over 5.5 rebounds. Jokic over 20.5 rebounds and assists. Let's bang these things out quick and tell you exactly why these are good plays. So, Naz Reid, Mr. Naz Reid. Why is he a good play here tonight? Let's go ahead and bring him into the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. You're going to see that multi-million-dollar sportsbook data here once again. Let's bring it up here, Betr. And you're going to see Mr. Naz Reid. Best prop on the board you can take is his over 1.5 3-pointers. Why is that? Because he's aggressively favored on FanDuel, minus 145, minus 136 on BetOnline, minus 134 on Pinnacle, minus 130 on DraftKings, etc., etc. Keep in mind, we are playing all 6-pick flexes because that makes us get minus 121 in this particular slip type. As long as we get 4 out of 6 or better, we're going to profit money. So that's the kind of ticket that I'm playing here. That's the kind of ticket I'm promoting to play in my VIP for long-term profit. It's going to give you the best chance to win long-term, and you're getting minus 121 implied odds instead of this minus 145 on FanDuel. The fact that he's minus 145 to go over this on FanDuel and you can get it on Betr in a 6-pick dynamic play at minus 121 is phenomenal value. That is really good stuff. You want to be taking advantage of that as soon as possible because that is a phenomenal prop. Okay, so you want to be taking advantage of that. What's the next prop that we talked about? What's the next prop in this ticket? Jaden Ivey, 14.5 points. No surprise to you guys, I'm sure. With the breakdown, you're going to understand now that I kind of explained my process. Aggressively favored on all these sportsbooks. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different sportsbook pulled in this optimizer, all favoring him at essentially minus 130 or greater to go over his 14.5 points tonight. We're getting minus 121 in a 5 or 6 pick flex, 5 or 6 pick dynamic play on Betr Picks. 6 pick dynamic. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3 top plays, all phenomenal plays. Then the next 3, we got the Jaren Jackson Jr. over 5.5 rebounds, Nikola Jokic over 20.5 rebounds and assists. Then we got the Wemby fantasy score. So let's go ahead and break these down for you. My fantasy score process is a little bit different than my standard props process, I will say. So we'll save that for last. But Jaren Jackson Jr. over 5.5 rebounds. Phenomenal prop here tonight, guys. I mean, look at this. Look at this stuff here. We got minus 146 in the over on Pinnacle. Minus 130 in the over on DraftKings. Minus 135 on the over on BetOnline. Minus 145 on the over on Bovada, right? And we do have some pending injury news that Desmond Bane is questionable, and Desmond Bane did miss shoot around. So it sounds like Bane's going to be ruled out. The market knows this. The market factors that in. And the market is aggressively favoring Jaren Jackson Jr.'s over rebounds because Desmond Bane isn't expected to be in. Desmond Bane's going to grab quite a few of those rebounds. Now, market's telling us, more rebounds are going to go Jaren Jackson Jr. way. We're going to favor that over. I do expect that Desmond Bane will get ruled out. These are all things going through my brain. I do always know the injury report every single day. That is important because if there is pending injury news, obviously the market can fluctuate based upon how that news breaks. Right? So, Jaren Jackson Jr. over 5.5 rebounds. I like the fact that Bane missed shoot around. I like the fact he's favored on the over. I think we could see that skyrocket up even more. And then last but certainly not least, we got the Nikola Jokic rebounds and assist prop. Let's go ahead and type them in here. Let's bring it into the Derek Fantasy Optimizer, and you're going to see it's his best possible prop on the board with a 53.68% chance to hit. Why is that? He's favored on the over at minus 130 on DraftKings, minus 135 on BetMGM, and he's actually listed at 21.5 in multiple markets such as a FanDuel and such as a Bovada, meaning he is favored to go over the 20.5, and he's actually all the way up to 21.5 favored on the over. Essentially, they're saying he's going to end with 21 rebounds and assists. Perfect. So if you can get the 20.5, the value is going to be over. If you got the 21.5, the value would probably be on the under. If you're getting 21 even, which I'm guessing Prizepicks has him listed at because Prizepicks tends to bump these kind of props, you're having no edge in that prop. Doesn't look like he's even listed here at the time of recording. So Prizepicks not even listing his props yet here today. But we were able to capture that value over on Betr Picks. And then last but certainly not least, we got the Wembanyama fantasy score. You're going to see on Prizepicks, once again, he has been shifted up to 49 even. We can get, it might not seem like a big deal if you're new to this. I'm here to tell you it is a big deal. We can get 48.5 on Betr Picks. It's a 0.5 point discount. Nothing major, but it could be the difference between you winning and losing. I'm telling you, when he ends with 48.7 fantasy points tonight, and you're sitting there mad in your FanDuel entries, or not your FanDuel entries, your Prizepicks entries, but you could have won on Betr Picks, right? So hopefully that makes sense. So for the fantasy score process, guys, Betr Picks and Prizepicks both have the same fantasy scoring format, and they use the same fantasy scoring format as FanDuel. So I do use FanDuel projection models to go ahead and project these guys, and you can see Wembanyama on the season putting up a crazy fantasy point per minute rate. Guys putting up 1.67 fantasy points per minute in the Prizepicks and Betr Picks fantasy scoring format. Once again, they have the same exact format, which I can bring up here shortly. But essentially, there's a certain amount of fantasy points you get for points, assists, rebounds, blocks, and steals, right? And then that's going to all be factored into my projections. And I'm going to spit out a number as to what I have these guys projected for. Wembanyama, a 31% usage rate. He's putting up 53.5 fantasy points per game on the season, over 32.4 minutes per game, which is exactly where I have him projected here tonight, essentially. I've got him going out there and getting in the mid-50s. And obviously, he's priced at 48.5. So if I have him getting, 53, 54, 55 fantasy points, he's priced at 48.5, there is some edge on the over. Wembanyama is a blocks and steals machine, which is very friendly in this fantasy scoring format. If you are someone who has watched my content in the past, you've probably heard me talk about this. I'm always talking about blocks and steals when it comes to fantasy score, because if you're able to target a guy that gets a lot of blocks and steals, I said I'll bring up the fantasy scoring format here. You're going to see you get 1 point for every point, 1.2 for rebounds, 1.5 for assists, 3 points for every block, and 3 points for every steal. So if you're targeting guys' fantasy score, obviously you're going to want him to rack the points, the rebounds, the assists, etc. But if he can get a lot of blocks and steals, which is Wembanyama's bread and butter, the upside of this guy is ridiculous. Ridiculous. If we go ahead and pull him up into Outlier, let's go ahead and do some underlying metrics. Let's bring up his blocks and steals chart. I just want to nail home how much upside this can provide. It's quite ridiculous. Let's pull up steals and blocks. Last game, guys, he racked up 10 steals and blocks. He had 10 blocks. Game prior, 4 blocks, 2 steals. Game prior, 7 blocks. Keep in mind, you are getting 3 fantasy points for every single one of those blocks. So literally, this man racked up 30 fantasy points in his last appearance just off blocks. Not even factoring in his points, his rebounds, and assists to go along with it. Just off blocks, he racked up 30 fantasy points. So this is one of those categories, like these apps are going to bump these plays up and down like crazy and stuff. And the fantasy score, they can't really do too much with it, right? They're kind of at the mercy of, they have to set it as appropriate as possible. But the edge that they can take away compared to other props at times can be very advantageous to you in your slips. So I do really like the over fantasy score for Victor Wembanyama here tonight. Once again, he's priced here at 48.5. I've got him projected, 53, 54, 55 kind of thing. Low to mid 50s here tonight. So that's what we got for the better picks portion, right? We got the Derek White over 2.5 3-pointers made. We got the Naz Reid over 1.5 3-pointers made. We got the Ivy over 14.5 points. Jaren Jackson over 5.5 rebounds. Jokic over 20.5 rebounds and assists. And Wembanyama over fantasy points, okay? That's what we got on better picks. The latest ticket I placed that I'm sharing with you guys here for free. And the next ticket that we're going to discuss is going to be on the Prizepicks app. So let's go ahead and switch on over to Prizepicks. Let's go ahead and bang this ticket out. And let's get out of here. So I'm going to share with you guys the latest one that I placed. Here it is. Let's bring it up on my screen in my account. Let's bring up my Discord as well, just to show you guys. I sent it over there. And here's what we got. So we got the Jared Allen over 9.5 rebounds, the Derek White over 17.5 points and assists, the Julius Randle over 10.5 rebounds and assists, Clint Capella over 11.5 rebounds and assists. We got the Jabari Smith Jr. over 26.5 fantasy score and Dylan Brooks over 22.5 fantasy score. They are on the same team. How do I pronounce this guy's name? Eason did get ruled out, which should solidify the minutes even more in this rotation. And it's a rotation that's already playing very solidified minutes. In this matchup against Houston, yeah, Terry Eason has been ruled out. So I like that for these two guys. I have them both projected over pretty sizably. And then if we look at the Houston Rockets rotation as far as how many minutes these guys have been playing as of late, it's pretty ridiculous. They've been having a very tight core here. You can see pretty much the only guys they're playing off the bench are Cam Whitmore, Jayshawn Tate, and Amen Thompson. Outside of that, it's Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Sengun, and Van Vliet. You can see last game, Smith played 37 minutes, Brook played 37 minutes the game before, 34, 32, 40, 33. So this rotation is crazy tight. So I do feel comfortable playing two guys in the same ticket. That's the first question I know I'm going to get. Keep in mind, they're both priced in the lower 20s to mid 20s, right? So it's not like they're, it's not like they're two guys with like a 40 fantasy score. Let's bring in this link. Let's see if these plays are all still available, if any of them got removed. Does look like they're also available at the time of recording, so that does make me happy. And let's try to break this down nice and quick for you, right? So I guess we can start with, let's just go play by play here of what the screen has in order here on my VIP ticket. Over 9.5 rebounds for Jared Allen. Why is this a good play? No surprise to you guys. There's going to be millions of dollars of market data backing this play. I'll bring up the Prizepicks optimizer now that we kind of banged out some better picks plays. And you can see the over 9.5 rebounds aggressively favored at -135 and the over at 9.5 on DraftKings. And he's listed at 10.5 in a ton of different markets, including Pinnacle, BetMGM, Caesars. So it's that same concept that I discussed, right, where he's favored at the over 9.5. He's actually listed at 10.5 in some places. They're essentially saying he's going to end with 10 rebounds exactly, which the amount of times that happens will blow your mind. They're just that good at setting these odds, right? So the Jared Allen over 9.5 rebounds, phenomenal prop. Millions of dollars of data backing it. Kind of going to be straight to the point so we can get through these picks nice and quick for you. But that's going to be a phenomenal play. The Derek White over 17.5 points and assists. I talked about how I liked his 3-pointers here tonight. The points and assists also going to be a phenomenal prop with some really good value. So we can bring him in to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, and you're going to see a 53.68% chance to hit. This is a phenomenal prop. He's listed all the way up at 18.5 and actually favored on the over at -135 on Bovada. So they're already anticipating he's going to go over the 18.5 number. We're getting an entire point and assist less than that on Prizepicks. 53.68% chance to hit. Phenomenal prop. Kind of crazy that we're able to get that on Prizepicks. Honestly, I'm surprised they still have it available, but they do. Julius Randle, over 10.5 rebounds and assists, and the Clint Capella, over 11.5 rebounds and assists. Both phenomenal props. Both going to be backed by millions of dollars of sportsbook data. Let's bring them in, and let's talk about the data that we see for these guys here tonight. We got Julius Randle, best prop on the board, 53.65% chance to hit. -135 favorite on Bovada, -133 Caesars, -135 BetMGM. Actually listed up to 11.5 on another DFS app in Hot Streak. Similar concept, right? The 10.5, we're getting some really good edge on the over. We got a 53.65% chance to hit on that. We do like that. Last but certainly not least, as far as a standard prop concerned, as far as a standard prop is concerned, is going to be the Clint Capella rebounds and assists. Let's bring him in here. You're going to see once again, it is his best possible prop on the board from a standard prop aspect. They are saying his under fantasy score is good, but it only brings in one data point. And once again, for full transparency, guys, I use FanDuel projection models for my fantasy scores. Just being honest about my process, I do not use sportsbook market data to determine fantasy scores. I find my projection models to be a little bit more accurate in that category. The data that I brought up, the fantasy point per minute production, etc., is what I'm using. But for the standard props, this is the best data out there, man. This is what I'm using, right? -140, -140, -133, -135. Every single one of these markets has them aggressively favored at -130 or greater. We are getting -119 in a 5 or 6 pick flex on Prizepicks, so we're getting a really good deal. And then last but certainly not least, we got those two fantasy scores that I discussed. I talked about how they're playing massive minutes. Jabari Smith, Dillon Brooks, and Eason is ruled out, which should just make those minutes even more solidified, right? That's going to not hurt our feelings. We can bring on some more on-off court stats as well with Eason. You can see the biggest usage bumps and all that fun stuff. But pretty much, they're running these guys into the ground. They're going to be playing massive minutes. And if we look at the fantasy point per minute production for these two guys, right, let's go ahead and bring it up for you here. How good are they producing? How many fantasy points are they putting up per game, etc., etc.? The first guy's Jabari Smith. He's putting up 0.8 fantasy points per minute. 0.8 fantasy points per minute on the season. He is going out there and racking up a total of 25 fantasy points per game, 30.7 minutes per game. I will reiterate, their minutes have been way up as of late. So they're actually playing a lot more minutes than that now in this Houston rotation. Good matchup against the Hornets. We're not too worried about the Hornets defense. And I do have both these guys projected in the upper 20s, if not into the 30s for Jabari Smith. Got them both going out there and essentially putting up just a hair shy of 30 fantasy points, right around 30 fantasy points. So we do want to be attacking them both here tonight, in my opinion. And then, of course, Dillon Brooks, last but certainly not least, how many fantasy points per minute is he putting up? 0.7 fantasy points per minute. So same thing. It's really just where he's priced and the minutes he's getting, right? So he's putting up, like they're both putting up like 0.7, 0.8 fantasy points per minute. You do the math of how many minutes they're logging. Pretty much got them both. Dillon Brooks is priced in the low 20s. Jabari Smith is priced in the mid 20s. Got them both getting out there, more upwards towards that 30 fantasy points mark. So I do want to be taking advantage of these two props here tonight. Got them both going over by a pretty sizable margin. Go ahead and lock that in. For the Prizepicks portion, right? So that's what we got for Prizepicks. We got the over 9.5 rebounds for Jared Allen, the over 17.5 points and assists for Derek White, the over 10.5 rebounds and assists for Julius Randle, the over 11.5 rebounds and assists for Clint Capella, over 26.5 fantasy score for Jabari Smith Jr., and the over 22.5 fantasy score for Dillon Brooks, okay? That is the Prizepicks ticket I'm sharing with you. Actual play that I'm backing, as you can see, looking to win 10,000 from these plays here tonight. And I talked about the Betr picks portion as well, right? We talked about the Betr picks. So that's the Prizepicks ticket, the Betr picks ticket. We already reviewed it, but I will pull it up here again. We got the Derek White over 2.5 3-pointers. Naz Reid over 1.5 3-pointers. Jaden Ivey over 14.5 points. Jaren Jackson Jr. over 5.5 rebounds. Nikola Jokic over 20.5 rebounds and assists. And the Victor Wembanyama over 48.5 fantasy points. So hopefully you enjoyed the content. Trying to give you as much free value as possible. Once again, take advantage of that sweet deal, guys. I'm going to have that live through midnight of Christmas Day. Promo code HOLIDAYS. If you go to my Patreon page, you're going to get 50% off to be able to hop in my Discord and get access to every single one of my plays, all the resources that I provide to help you succeed on these player props apps. So take advantage of that. Let's see. We went over all the plays here. So, yeah, man, take advantage of all this free value. Take advantage of these free plays. Lock them in. And cash out here tonight with me, right? That's the goal here. That's the goal on this content. Let's bring up each one last time, and I'm going to get out of here. I'll bring it up on my Discord. Here is the Betr ticket. Read it and weep. We like those plays. We like these plays on Prizepicks. This is the Prizepicks ticket. Read it and weep. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. If you did, would be greatly appreciated. If you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell on your way out the door. Wishing you guys all the best of luck on your NBA player props tonight. We will see you in the next one.